trade.
In a new series of one-hour documentaries, AlJazeera English showcases films from across the AlJazeera network.
Lebanon, a land with no common history. Listening to the views of students, an important lesson can be learned. How contradictions and inconsistency can cripple a country's development long after the end of the civil war.
AlJazeera World at this time.
From the world to your phone. AlJazeera Mobile.
All the news, all the time. AlJazeera.net/English.
This is Al Jazeera.
Hello, warm welcome to the News Hour, live from Doha. I'm Shuli Ghosh from Al Jazeera News Centres in Doha and London. These are the main stories. We're expecting Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi to broadcast an address to the nation in a very short while, but we'll be bringing you this as soon as we get it. Meanwhile, Libya's ambassador to the United States has resigned from what he calls a dictatorship regime. But Muammar Gaddafi says he's still in charge. Libyan fighter jets target army ammunition depots and command centres to prevent troops from joining the protesters. And rescue missions head to Libya as foreign nationals try to escape the violence. We'll be on the Libyan border with Tunisia.
I'm Barbara Sarah in London. We'll have European reaction to the growing crisis in Libya.
I'm Tim Friend in central London, where Libyans from all over the UK are demonstrating outside the British Prime Minister's official residence.
Hello there. Well, as you join us, we're expecting the Libyan leader, Colonel Gaddafi, to broadcast an address to the nation shortly on Libyan state television. And we will, of course, bring you that as soon as we get it. We'll also have analysis from across the region. But first, let's just bring you up to date with all the latest developments. Libya's ambassador to the United States has resigned, saying he no longer wants to serve a dictatorship regime. Reports say that Libya's side of the border with Egypt is now in anti-government hands. Jordan is urging the Libyan government to end civilian bloodshed and exercise self-restraint. And Turkey has sent 2 Sea Cat rescue ships to evacuate its citizens from Libya. The Netherlands is also sending a plane to help evacuate Dutch nationals. And according to Italian officials, marine oil terminals in Libya have halted operations. The United Nations Human Rights Chief has raised the possibility of crimes against humanity in Libya. But Muammar Gaddafi's former aide has said the country's leader will neither leave nor step down. So let's take a look at what's happening inside Libya. Bear in mind, once again, communications have almost completely been cut. We've been unable to get through on phones, and internet access there remains severely limited. Lawrence Lee has this report.
The Libyan leader is nothing if not self-assured. His latest TV appearance a model of idiosyncrasy, sitting in a clapped-out car to announce that he hadn't fled the country. If it appeared slightly comic, the message from those who know him is harder. He won't cave in.
He's meeting the chief of staff. He's already met them and talking to them to calm down this situation. Rumors that he's been running out of the country. He's not. He's staying there, and he will be staying there. He will not step down.
All the same, the pressure on him is now immense. Several major cities across Libya under the control of the opposition. If anything, the violence meted out to the protesters seems to have been a tactical mistake by Gaddafi's regime, simply hardening the popular resolve. There have been many who've said there's no point backing down now because they'd simply be killed anyway. Images of the dead continue to surface, many extremely gruesome, some people torn limb from limb, adding to allegations that the military haven't only been using gunfire, but artillery as well.
We saw
saw bodies divided in 3-4 parts. We saw only legs and only hands. And we saw really very bad kind of injuries here.
It's also ironic that Gaddafi, who for decades has styled himself as a saviour of the pan-Arab world, appears now so reviled across the region. From Dubai to Baghdad, ordinary Arabs have been expressing solidarity with the uprising, saying they hope the people bring their leader down.
I hope they rip him apart in the Green Square. I hope all the Libyan people get him and join together.
Libyan people have achieved the impossible, and Libya is about to get rid of this schizophrenic dictator. People are stronger than the tyrants.
Outside the allegations of crimes against humanity, there's another crisis somewhere on the horizon. These Egyptian migrant workers fled over the border from Libya, claiming mercenaries were firing indiscriminately. If the violence gets worse, a refugee crisis wouldn't be a surprise. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
Now, the Arab League is due to start its emergency meeting on the upheaval in Libya around now. On Monday, the League's Secretary-General, Amr Moussa, expressed his deep concern over the deadly crackdown by government forces. He urged an immediate end to the violence. A number of world leaders have condemned the use of force against protesters. Well, Shireen Tadros is live for us in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Shireen, Amr Moussa expressing his concern there, but are we expecting anything concrete to come out of the Arab League meeting?
I don't think anyone's holding their breath for that, no, Shuli. In the last 10 minutes or so, we've been seeing Arab League representatives turning up. They're going to be in that emergency session in Cairo in the next 10-15 minutes or so. We expect that discussion to last several hours. No doubt they will have a television on in that room, watching to see if indeed Muammar Gaddafi does make another statement, a second statement, as is being told to us by Libyan state television. Now, at the end of those discussions, the Arab League representatives, we expect, will make some kind of statement, perhaps a written statement or in a press conference. But as I said there, I don't think anyone thinks that that will be anything more than just strong words against the Libyan regime and its crackdown on its people.
Is it ironic that the Arab League has members like Yemen, like Morocco, like Algeria, which are already also seeing these kind of unrest in their country? And of course, Libya holds the rotating presidency of the Arab League.
Yes, indeed, and that's why we're going to be looking at that statement that emerges very carefully. No doubt where they will all come down in unison is on the points of the brutality with which the Libyan regime is using against its people. That's going to be a common factor. But when the Arab League talks about the legitimacy of the people inside Arab states to protest against the regime and ask for change, that's where it's going to get interesting. And the Arab League Secretary-General Amr Moussa, who is, of course, Egyptian, he has been saying that this is a legitimate ask by the Arab people and that there is feeling amongst the Arab states that this should be heeded on. But it will be interesting to see exactly how that's worded. As you said there, Bahrain, Morocco,